Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
Hi there, folks, and welcome to the City Manager's Report. My name is Jake Timian for Andy Radig this week, and in a moment we'll be joined by our City Manager, Mark Roloff. In the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments, things happening here in Oshkosh, and then in the second half, we will highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, September 26th, Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our City Manager, Mark Roloff. Mark, as always, thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Jake.
Thanks for being here for my big debut. I appreciate that very much.
Welcome to this side of the camera.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll get right into it as we always do. And as we often do, we're going to lead today with some traffic updates. And the first one is about the road that winds through Menominee Park that some folks may or may not know is called Pratt Trail. And as I understand it, some construction delays are happening right now due to some unexpected circumstances.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the positive part first. The reconstruction that's going on there is going to be replacing the stormwater infrastructure, curb and gutter repair, and new asphalt along the entire length of Pratt Trail from Merritt Avenue to the intersection with Seaward Trail. So it's pretty much on around the east side of the zoo. But we want a couple things, and it's primarily for safety, especially if you're coming with a family. The pedestrian trails crossing Pratt Trail are being closed for safety, so please stay away from them as much as possible. And as you said, we are experiencing some delays. There's some unexpected circumstances that we discovered during excavation, which is going to slow down construction while we review everything that's out there. I can tell you that we're in consultation with UW Milwaukee, which we contact whenever we're doing any excavation of this nature. You may recall that when we did Lakeshore Park and Lakeshore Trail, there were things that slowed down that project because we just have to be careful. Anytime you're in a sensitive area with potential to excavate something, we have to be careful. So we have UW Milwaukee at the ready to take a look at these types of things, but we want to make sure that it gets done. The real, I guess, the bad news from this is that because of this, Pratt Trail is going to be closed throughout the winter, which is going to impact Celebration of Lights. So Celebration of Lights will still continue this year, but we're going to have to change the course of the route. So we're just going to have to, when people go there, all they have to do is look where people are directing them, but it won't be along Pratt Trail as it has been in previous years. Next year it'll go back to it, but because of the construction delays that we've incurred, we just have to be safe for everybody.
Sure, that makes sense, and we'll of course continue to keep folks updated on future shows with updates on Pratt Trail and also on Celebration of Lights. So thank you for that update. We appreciate it. The next one we're going to talk about, Mark, is Bauman Street. Moving forward as well, and as we understand it, looking for a potential completion by the end of next month.
Yes, I can tell you that the street construction projects that have been going on through the residential areas this year have been going very well. Mother Nature was very kind to us. So this is just an example right here on Sawyer at Tyler Street. You can see where the new construction, the new sidewalks, the new streets. So the concrete pavement is virtually done, even though some of the streets you might see, there's a few little things. But even in the last day or two, we've seen progress getting done there. The asphalt work that's there is due to be done the week of October 9th. So we're making really good progress. And as you said, we project that we are going to be done completely by October 27th. And you can see this is over by that private marina. There's some parking spaces that have been put in there. It's dirty over there. It'll be all cleaned up and everything. And you can see this is one of the areas where the concrete isn't done yet. So this will probably be the last piece of concrete that you'll see get done before the project's done. So this is looking south, and this is looking towards the river. So yeah, you can see that it's making very good progress. We're very happy with it. And again, one of those streets that was much needed to be done, and now we're close to completion.
Great. good news over there as well. And then we'll move over to Lincoln, the Lincoln Avenue area. That one has got some good news coming up as well, as we understand. So maybe middle of next month we'll be looking at having that one done.
Yes, even better. But it's all the same reasons. Weather's been very kind to us. So the sidewalks are going to get completed the week of September 25th. So you can see with some of the videos, a lot of the sidewalk is done, but there's still a little bit left to be done. And then once that is completed, then obviously the restoration, you see a lot of the terrace areas. That's typically the last thing that's done, because then you're seeding and everything. You want all the big construction vehicles out of the way so they don't tear up the dirt or anything. So first it's got to get smoothed over. You got to get all the rocks out. Then you put some topsoil on and get the grass seed in there. So, but everything we're hearing, mid-October is when we expect to see that. So I would say no later than October 21st. But it's been disruptive around the university area, and we appreciate everybody's patience with this project.
Yeah, and McKinley Street also included in that project. So as Mark mentioned, middle of October, hope for completion for that one. If you want to sign up for emailed construction updates for road projects, you can find that link in the hot topics, on the city's website. Just go to ci.oshkosh.wi.us. You can find the link in the Hot Topics section, and you can sign up for construction update emails as well. If there are certain projects, as you see on your screen now, that you want to know about, you sign up for those, you subscribe, and you'll get all the updates you need. Also, to let you know, Public Works Director James Robbie did record an informational video highlighting the 2024 proposed capital improvements plan. That can be accessed through the city's website. You can also find that on the Oshkosh Media YouTube page. That's a really good explainer for the projects that are going to be coming up proposed in 2024, so please do check that out as well. All right, Mark, speaking of construction updates, we've got one that's been a long time coming, and we've got some really good news to share about the Parks Department office building.
Yes, the Parks Department offices are now reopened at their new location, which is their old location at 805 Witzel. There's a little aerial view. So the office part of the building is now open, so the public can come by and take a look and see that, or make reservations for renting a shelter or anything. But you can see what the new facility looks like. Not everybody has moved in yet, but Parks Director Ray Maurer and his administrative assistant Hannah are there to basically take care of any walk-up needs that you may have. We are currently working on getting the office done, and the office hours are going to remain Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. They're closed from noon to 1. The telephone number remains the same. That's 236-5080. And now that the administration portion of the building is open for service, the field operations portion of the building is going to remain under construction for a while longer. And you can see some of that. We're still, putting the final touches on it. Then we'll start moving people in. It'll be into October that we'll be doing this. But you can see that this replaces a very old building that actually dates back over 70 years. So that was long overdue. We actually bought it from the technical college. It was a craft where the crafts and trades were taught at the technical college, and then our Parks Department said, well, we do crafts and trades, so maybe we'll take it over. But it was very outdated, made our folks very inefficient. This is going to improve efficiency and service, and that'll mean that our folks can get out on the street quicker and get to the parks quicker and start maintaining all of our wonderful parks just a lot better and a lot nicer.
Great explanation, yeah, and it kind of dovetails into a question that we got on social media that we wanted to pose to you. Why wasn't the new Parks building consolidated into the Public Works building across the street? Do you have an answer for that?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. A great question. How great is it? I asked it about 14 years ago when this was being discussed. So it was a very legitimate question. And we had a space needs analysis that was done. And that was something that I insisted on because I wanted to make sure. Because I've seen Public Works departments and Parks departments be separated, and it's like they didn't have to be. In our case, the site that we have for Public Works, we needed to acquire more land just to accommodate them. And while our Parks Department moved in with their cousins in Public Works, it was extremely crowded. Think of visiting relatives. You love them when they come, but you also love them when they leave. And it's been a challenge to to keep efficient because they're really walking over on top of one another. Plus, the nature of their work is really different when you think about it. When you think about parks, they're doing small engine type of things, more maintenance. They're driving pickups and mowers versus big snowplow trucks and things like that. So the nature of their work is very different. When Public Works needs more small engine type of things, they call on the Parks Department to fill in so that we don't have duplicate equipment. Similarly, the Public Works Department takes care of the majority of the snow plowing with their big pieces of equipment so they can do it more efficiently. So it's using each other for our strengths and our special services. But when we also did it, we had to pace ourselves. We only had enough money to do the Public Works building at the time. Now, we had to wait 10 years. And I always joke with Parks Director Maurer, I've been lying to him for 10 years because I said, as soon as Public Works done, we're going to get on Parks. And it's like, well, we did, but we didn't have the money. So we had to wait. So part of this is pacing ourselves, being responsible financial stewards, and I think we did that. And I think you're going to find the same results that we got with Public Works. Our Public Works folks, because of that building, they get out the door 25 minutes earlier than they did with the old building. That's 25 minutes times about 25 people times 5 days a week. The minutes and the efficiencies really add up. You're going to see a very similar situation with parks because they were tripping over each other, and you can't be efficient when you're tripping over each other. Now there's more space; they can move in and out. If you need to get out before me, you can get out and not worried about me being in your way. And we had a lot of that inefficiency that was going on. It's now going to be gone, and our folks will be able to get out in the parks, mow things faster, fix things faster. That's what our parks folks do, and I think you're going to be pleased with the results.
Right, and more efficiency means cost saving and more effective government, and that's what we're in the business of. So great to hear that. We'll move on now to a photography contest that's going on at the Oshkosh Public Library, and we want to let folks know that they can take part in this.
This is called the Fstop Photography Contest, and it's been gone for a couple years with COVID and everything, but it makes a return, and we're so excited. This contest invites teens and adults to capture the essence of Oshkosh. They're encouraged to use their cameras to capture what they believe makes Oshkosh truly an iconic place to live, work, and play. The contest actually launched on September 18th, and as I mentioned, this year's theme is Iconic Oshkosh. The contest runs through October 16th, and we're going to honor the top 3 photographers in 2 divisions. We're going to do a teen division, 13 to 17, and then ages 18 and older. And both amateur and professional work are accepted, and with some of the so-called amateur work, I challenge you to see the difference between an amateur and a professional. The work from these previous photo contests have been nothing but outstanding. So contest details are available on the library's website, and I can't wait to see what submissions we get from both divisions, and looking forward to not just the first, second, and third place, but a whole gallery of wonderful photography.
No shortage of talented folks here in Oshkosh, and no shortage of iconic places to take photographs of either. So we're looking forward to that, and we'll keep folks updated on how that goes. All right, another event, Mark, this time over at the Oshkosh Public Museum. It's almost time for the second annual Dia de los Muertos celebration. That's
right. It's going to be Saturday, October 28th, and you did a really good job of pronouncing that, Dia de los Muertos. And again, it's held on the museum grounds. It'll feature a community altar, very traditional, with this event, and traditional mariachis and dance, as well as food and fun for the entire family. So I encourage families to come of all ages. We're going to welcome the community with a free admission on Saturday, October 28th. And who's that sponsor for that one, Jake?
Thank you to the sponsors at the Taqueria restaurant, which I told you I was going to get one of these wrong, and I slipped up there on that one.
Yeah, so. You did okay. Taqueria is good, and it's one of the neighbors on Oshkosh Avenue, right down the street from the museum. So we encourage the families to come in and enjoy not just the traditions of Dia de los Muertos, but also the museum itself. If you want to take a look at the Apostles Clock or one of the other things going on in the museum. We have a lot to be proud of at our Oshkosh Public Museum, and this is just another event to add to the many events that we have there.
Yeah, last year's inaugural event went so well. It was very well received. So only going to be bigger and better this year. So please do stop out and check that out at the Oshkosh Public Museum. Speaking of events, Mark, we've got some events coming up with the Oshkosh Parks Department. This kind of goes along with what we were talking about with Pratt Trail before. So there are some changes. So listen up if you are into either one of these events.
Yes, well, both of these events have the term zoo in it, but because of Pratt Trail, we're moving these both to the Leach Amphitheater, which is a wonderful venue in and of itself. Brews at the Zoo is going to be Friday, October 20th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's free admission. You must be 21 because it's Halloween kind of at the zoo with craft beer, food trucks, and live music with Vitamin R. Costumes are absolutely encouraged. You must be 21 years of age to drink or purchase alcohol. So we certainly want to encourage people to come. It's just 21 to purchase drink or alcohol. You can bring the whole family if you'd like. There are costume contests as well. So that's that. And then also there is Zuluing Boo the very next day. Much more kid-oriented, but there's cost for both adults and children because we know adults are children at heart. October 21st, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., again at the Leach Amphitheater, trick-or-treat stations, costume contests, a lot of entertainment, children's games, and tickets are available online, or you can go over to the Oshkosh Festival Foods, and of course the Parks Department at its new location at 805 Witzel Street. So I encourage you to look it up. It's one of the most popular fun events, typically at the zoo, but this year I encourage you to take it in at the Leach Amphitheater.
All right, great. So thanks for the update on that. I'm sure it'll be just as fun at the Leach and always very well-attended events, so looking forward to those. And the last thing we have before we take a break here, Mark, just wanted to give folks an update. If you're looking to get involved, city boards and commissions do need members right now.
Variety of opportunities available. Just go to the website and check it out. See what your interests are. You can ask to be considered for a board or commission where there's no vacancy, but look for the ones that have vacancies and just try your hand at maybe something maybe a little bit different than what you were expecting. But the boards and commissions are very valuable in providing much needed input. And we're going to talk about some of them later on in the show. So we want people to be able to give us their thoughts on everything. So check out the website and sign up for a board or commission and start helping advise us on how we can address things here in the city of Oshkosh.
All right, great. So as we mentioned, a great way to get involved, folks, so please do check that out. And if you have the time, please do consider serving on a city board or commission. All right, Mark, we're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, we will preview the Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda for the upcoming meeting on Tuesday, September 26th. Stay with us, and we'll be back after this. Welcome back to your City Manager's Report. I'm Jake Tim, along with your Oshkosh City Manager, Mark Roloff. Now we'll dive into a preview of the Oshkosh Common Council agenda coming up for the meeting Tuesday, September 26th. And the first thing we want to talk about, Mark, is a presentation right at the top of the meeting, and this is for the Wisconsin Historical Society, presenting an award for the Oshkosh Public Museum's exhibit for the Helen Farnsworth Mears, A Genius of Wisconsin exhibit.
This is really something. The Board of Curators for the Historical Society takes a look at different exhibits that are done throughout the state. And as you said, the Helen Farnsworth Mears exhibit, which is a genius of Wisconsin. And they thought that of all the unique exhibits that were done at Wisconsin museums throughout the state, that this one deserved an award. It's called the Ruth and Hartley Barker Award, and the director and CEO of the Wisconsin Historical Society will be here to make that presentation. So this is an exhibit that unfortunately is now gone, but it just demonstrates the great exhibits that we have at the museum. They may not be always the real retail popular ones like we had with the Titanic and that, but local history is something that visitors love to hear about, and this is a great example. And Helen, Farnsworth, Mears, there's a contest throughout the state for writing over the course of the year, so we're really happy that we were able to have this exhibit, and we're proud of our folks at the museum, and they'll be equally proud when they get the presentation from the Historical Society on Tuesday night.
Certainly proud of our museum, one of the jewels here in town, so happy for them and looking forward to that presentation. All right, Mark, the next thing, somewhat more of an interior thing maybe, approve the renewal of employee health and dental insurance for 2024, but we wanted to talk about this because this has a very big impact on the city's budget.
It sure does. The city spends about $10 million annually on health and dental insurance, so this isn't something to take lightly. We work very closely with an employee committee to give us advice and perspective on what their needs are, and then we level with them about financial needs. I'm happy to report because of a good track record this past year, as well as us managing this well with the input of our employees, our increase for health insurance is going to only be 3.1%. We've been doing double-digit increases the last couple of years, so this is big news. And for dental insurance, there'll be no increase whatsoever. So I want to thank our employees, and I know the council appreciates the employees giving us input to make our plan a good one for employees that will attract employees, but also is fiscally responsible.
Good news there. All right, we'll move on to the next one, Mark. We're looking at the item to approve a purchase of wetland mitigation credits. And as I understand it, we have to do this anytime we may disturb some wetlands with a project that we have going on.
Right, especially when you're dealing with rural areas that have a lot of wet areas that we have to keep an eye on, and that's where we do a lot of our big stormwater ponds. So this is what we commonly call Rural 2, which is immediately west, or not immediately, but just west of Clearville Road here. So you can see where the rural detention basin is, and we've had to map out any potential wetland areas, and if we're going to disturb those wetland areas, which we will be doing in large part for this project, we have to either correct them on site, or we have to do what's called purchase credits to rebuild wetlands elsewhere. And the state of Wisconsin has that, and so it's not a cheap price, but when we're disturbing wetlands, we have to do this. It's going to cost us about $585,000, and so that'll enable us to purchase some wetlands at a site that the state will determine, and they'll go to the trouble of making a certain area wetlands, and our contribution to that credit program will enable this to happen.
Okay, so another update there on that Rural 2 detention basin for the Sawyer Creek watershed. The next item, Mark, we're going to approve the acceptance of a donation from the Friends of Oshkosh Senior Center, and this is just one of the many contributions that the Friends of the Senior Center makes throughout the year.
Anytime you attend a Friends of the Senior Center event, they're doing a fundraiser. So if you give a few dollars for their spaghetti dinner or one of their other events, they collect that money and then annually make a donation to the Senior Center to offset programming needs at the center. Usually it's materials and things like that, specialty things for classes, but we have a pretty sprawling campus over here. We've got the north and the south building, and the activities that go on there are just phenomenal. Very much geared towards making seniors enable themselves to have a more independent life. And it's through the interactions they have at the Senior Center. So the generosity of the Friends of the Senior Center make this happen. It's a $4,900 donation that we much appreciate. And I always like to mention this. We've talked about some big numbers here, but the little numbers add up as well. And they make the Senior Center as a spectacular facility as it is today.
With a friends group of our own here at Oshkosh Media, I know how important they are. So always, like you said, every contribution counts, and we certainly appreciate that from the Friends of the Oshkosh Senior Center. All right, Mark, we'll move on to the next item. On paper, this says amend the loading zone to the bus loading zone on the north side of New York Ave from Kentucky Street to Central Street. But really, this has to do with the new Vel Phillips Middle School and the Merrill Elementary School.
It sure does. Think about this. You have Merrill Elementary and Middle School and Webster Stanley Elementary and Middle School all consolidated on this mega site for 1 year until Menominee School gets built and the Merrill Elementary will all shift back. So we want to make sure the children are as safe as possible. So we are designating a bus loading zone. We've been working with the school district. So this is the north side of New York between Kentucky and Central. This is where the buses will drop off the Merrill School kids. So parents, please stay away from that site. That's where the buses load and unload, because we want our kids to be able to be dropped off at a very safe place. So that's what this is about. They're already doing it, but we have to make sure the code is up to date so we can enforce this. Hopefully we write 0 tickets because we're getting the word out. And I appreciate all the cooperation of the Vel Phillips family and the Merrill family to make this happen. It's going to be a challenging year, but we're going to get it done, and it's with your cooperation we'll be able to do it.
Yeah, if you're in that area throughout the school year on pickup or drop-off times, just slow down and be patient over there as everybody tries to pick up the kids. So thanks for that. Next one, Mark, is under new resolutions, and this has to do with a spot blight designation on the 600 block of North Main, as well as the acquisition of a property at 656 North Main Street.
Yeah, I think the pictures we have and the graphic we have here kind of demonstrate what we're looking at. This is a site that we're looking to acquire, so part of it is spot blight designation, but if you look immediately to the right, to the east, that is a lot that is owned by a redevelopment authority. And what we're going to do is purchase this site and then turn around, demo it, and then sell this as well as the RDA site to a developer that's going to be putting in some downtown multifamily housing in that area. So we've reviewed a proposal, I should say the redevelopment authority has, and they've awarded that and designated that group to get this property. So we have to get the last piece of parcel that we've been assembling all this property. We've been assembling it for over 20 years now. So we're finally seeing the fruits of our labor, and you'll see some great downtown redevelopment with some residential, which I think will be wonderful.
All right, great. Thank you for the update on that. And then our final item that we're going to talk about on the show here today, Mark, is under council discussion, direction to city manager, and future agenda items. And this has to do with the ongoing process that is the Clear Wells project.
It sure is. And this involves multiple different boards and commissions that have differing jurisdictions. So the Parks Board heard from city staff and the ad hoc committee on Clear Wells aesthetics on design issues immediately outside the water filtration plant regarding and also regarding the design for the Clear Wells building. So the Parks Board is responsible for the exterior review, but the Plan Commission does the interior review, and that's what I mean, it's inside the fence. So the committee was actually split on the 2 options you see right here, option 1 and option 5. One is more, option 1's more in keeping with the buildings in the rest of the campus, but option 5 is a little more artistic twist to it. The committee was divided. So the Plan Commission has reviewed this and given some input to the council, but the council is the applicant. So the council will make their recommendation to staff, give direction. We would like you to proceed with this. Then the Plan Commission reassembles on October 3rd and says, okay, now we've heard from the applicant, which is the council, and which one are we going to take their recommendation and approve it and move it on back to the council. So council's wearing 2 hats, the Plan Commission's wearing 2 hats, but everybody's jurisdiction is different. So that's the inside. On the outside, the committee recommended a design that would actually eliminate about 25 parking spaces from the area immediately along the lake. The Parks Board, which has the jurisdiction because that is, even though it's a street within a park, the Parks Board unanimously recommended that the design retain parking along the southern portion of Lakeshore Drive. And one of the reasons they did it is we have experience with the impact when this site is filled up. This video doesn't do justice to it. This is quite often filled, both in the summer and in the winter, because whether it's ice fishing in the winter or it's just regular fishing, without these parking spots, people will look for alternate parking spots, and they will go into the neighborhoods. And we know that the neighbors have an issue with a lot of this, so we have to be careful with this. So we're asking, we don't want it to spill over into the neighborhoods negatively. So we're going to be asking council to give us direction on which approach they want, but parking is certainly going to be a big issue with that.
All right. Well, Mark, that's all the time we have today, so thank you so much for bringing me along on my first show. I appreciate it very much, and thank you as always for being here.
It's always a pleasure.
All right, folks, thank you. Join us again in 2 weeks for another City Manager's Report. Thanks for watching, and take care.